started?
Yeah.
Welcome to our ASMR Wandering Gamer podcast.
Tonight we are going to be playing Kingdom Hearts.
And our one viewer has now stopped listening. Hey Wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gamer Network Plays Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm Zach. Man, I forget that like every time.
No, it's all good, and I'm Mandy, and we finally figured out during the break what we were talking about. Because Mega Blocks are like the little stocky, like the people were little and stocky. I was thinking of Playmobil, where their little people are like really tall and skinny. And so I was going nuts trying to figure out what Zach was talking about. But I figured it out, and now I feel much better. So, our very important conversation. But Legos still trump all of them.
For real, though.
So good.
Man, I hate this gummy ship garbage.
Yeah, oh, I guess now you gotta fly somewhere.
Kingdom of Corona, here we come.
Woo. Oh, actually, so before we even started recording, because I guess you don't have to super concentrate, but I'll give you something that I can just talk for if you need me to. We were talking about the parties at Disney, specifically Disney World, and how the
because
Christmas...
California's freaking far away.
It is far away. Nothing against Disneyland. I have been, but it is too expensive to fly out to California versus Florida from where we are.
Where am I even going?
I don't know.
There's the marker.
But what was I saying?
Parties at Disney.
Yes, parties at Disney. So I worked at Disney. I did their college program back in 2012. I did what they call the Fall Advantage program, which meant that I was there from May 20th, so middle of May, until January, like 2nd of the next year. So I was there for a decent amount of time. So I got to do summer, fall, and winter at Disney and worked there. And so I've been to a couple of the parties. And right now the plan is I'm going to take my sister in the fall because the Halloween party is the best party. And let me tell you why it's the best party.
I mean, the fireworks are significantly better than the Christmas ones.
The fireworks are significantly better, which does make a huge difference. I think the biggest thing for me, though, is, like, Disney isn't known for their Halloween stuff. Like, if you think Disney, like, you know, there's the Christmas parade, which you can, you know, watch from home. Oh, no. Is that a big thing for you to fight? Yep. So, you know, there and Christmas is like happy and generally winter holidays, and it's all over the parks, and it's, you know, Christmas has its own thing. But like the Halloween party, you can go trick-or-treating, which is super fun. It's the only time they allow adults to dress up in the parks if you go to the actual party. And that's fantastic because Disney adults at least want to cosplay, like, or, oh shoot, what's it called? Where, you're like dressing with like colors that
Disney bounding?
Disney bounding, yeah. Like Disney bounding's a thing where, you know, you want to represent characters and things. So it's like being able to dress up for the Halloween party is a huge part of it. But then, like I said, you get to go trick-or-treating. Just like the Christmas party, they do bring out more characters like that are rarer. But the villains get front and center attention, and Disney villains are the best.
Have you played the Villainous board game, by the way? Where you get to...
haven't.
I've heard it described as like dark alternative Disney. Oh, stop it! Knock it off! I'm gonna die.
No.
Same thing happened last time, like when I did this on my own game.
It's all good. Oh, Sora looks so disappointed. No, I haven't. I'll have to look
it's like
into it.
someone described it as an alternative Disney timeline where the villains win.
That's amazing.
Anyway, neither here nor there. But yes, Disney villains are super sweet.
Right? They're just cool. Like, honestly, I don't think it matters if you look at like original Disney villains all the way to more modern ones. They're awesome. Especially Frollo. He is the best Disney bad guy, and I will fight anyone
I don't know.
who disagrees.
Better than Hades?
Better than Hades, but I feel like Hades is in his own like unique bubble.
I think Hades is the like S tier of things where it's like, well, like he's obviously the best. You can't beat him.
See, here's the thing though, is I think Hades is just in his own category. Like I can't place him with the other ones because he's too much of a character. But like Frollo, in the sense of him being like a baddie. I
think Lady Tremaine in Cinderella's actually worse because she's just like a horrible person. Like she's mean like for no other reason than to be mean. Where like everyone else, like
I mean, Frollo is kind of the same way.
Well,
he has the guise of being like the morally like above everyone else person. That makes sense. I can't think of words tonight. Which I think makes it worse. And actually, the musical does a better job than the movie, where he is just like it's eerie because he could be like anybody you actually know because he's actually really nice in the beginning of the musical, and then he just goes Frollo crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Frollo is a very real villain.
Yeah, which
I think he's the most real, and I will say that.
Yeah, which to me is what makes him fascinating villain.
I really like Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog.
He is so fun.
He's also like, I also found him super interesting because he like wasn't the villain in control. You know?
That is a fair point.
Where like what he was doing was motivated by his own bad choices in life prior to what was happening.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I think that kind of takes away a little bit of the stakes from him being the villain, which is just like for me the reason why I would put him below Frollo, but I totally know where you're coming from. Also,
right.
He does have one of the best villain songs.
He does. But I like how he's not in control because it gives him a different motivation where it's not just like, I want power, I'm a terrible person.
Oh,
it's more like, I don't care about people anymore because I made some really bad choices and I care about myself so much more than like everyone else.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally see where you're coming from. I think my argument with it would just be that he it takes away some of how he's obviously, but it takes away how he's personally connected with the story, unlike like a Frollo or Mufasa or Lady Tremaine, where they are directly tied with the protagonist.
You mean Scar?
Scar, sorry.
What Lion King are you watching? In Hamlet, do you vote for the uncle the whole time?
Mom brain is a real thing. But yeah.
No, I don't think you're wrong. Well, I don't. Well, that's the thing is, like, I think in like some ways it makes him more personal, in my opinion, or more connected, because like the stakes, like if he loses, the stakes aren't like, oh, I don't have power. The stakes are like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what they all end up being. But like at a certain, like for him, there is like he's already hit the point of no return when you first meet him.
I will agree to disagree with you on
right.
that point,
well,
but I totally get where you're coming from.
I'm not trying to say that you're wrong.
No.
I'm saying I disagree, but like that's fine. Like I'm not upset by you disagreeing.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally an agree to disagree situation. Anyway.
Also, like I have to feel like I feel like Frollo's would be more like unnerving, like, if I was a female with, like, his song about, like,
Oh yeah.
let me, like,
Makes it a little creepier.
let me have this woman or, like, send her to hell. Like, I feel like that makes you feel a little bit more villainous when you're not the demographic that is singing the song.
Also, to lay all my cards out on the table, Hunchback is my absolute favorite Disney movie.
Really, that one?
Well, because
stop hitting me.
it's not the best story. Don't get me wrong. It is not the best story at all. What makes it for me is the artwork, specifically with Notre Dame. But in general, it is just a beautiful movie to watch, and the soundtrack is, and this is me as an adult saying, like it wasn't my favorite movie when I was a kid, and I could categorize my movies into separate things where it's like my favorite princess movie versus my favorite Pixar movie.
Well, I don't consider Pixar Disney even still.
Right. It's its own category.
Yeah, they're very different, and like not in a bad way, because I really like Pixar.
Yeah.
Oftentimes more than Disney.
Yeah.
Though less so lately, honestly.
They're making some weird choices that I don't think I've seen the last 3 Pixar movies.
Yes, you have. We went and saw it in theaters, the most recent one.
You're right. We saw Incredibles 2. I didn't see Good Dinosaur. I did see Coco, but I saw it in Redbox.
Coco was good.
Coco was good.
Good Dinosaur. Oh, I thought that was me, and I'm like, come on, he was almost dead.
I didn't see Cars 3, and I didn't see Finding Dory.
I haven't seen Cars 3. Finding Dory was very unnecessary.
And then Good Dinosaur, I heard, was not...
It was exactly what you thought it was going to be, point for point.
Okay. It didn't have its usual, like, Pixar heavy hitter.
It was just like, this is a movie about, like, you know that, like, boy and his dog movie?
Oh, yeah.
It was that, except the boy was a dinosaur and the dog was a boy.
Gotcha. That's disappointing. But I know they kind of, if I remember correctly, they hit like a weird snag where I think a bunch of their projects got either canceled or pushed back. Because originally there was going to be a project that I was excited for called Newt, which is about like these 2 salamanders that are rare, that find each other, and unfortunately, you probably know where I'm going with this, but there was a DreamWorks movie, I think, Sony.
Rio,
yeah.
It was basically the plot of Rio with salamanders instead of birds.
Yeah, but I would have loved to see a Pixar take on that.
Yeah, but I understand why they didn't.
And then I don't remember if this was Disney or Pixar, but one of them canceled a Jack and the Beanstalk.
That was Disney.
That was Disney,
which I was very excited for.
Right, I was excited for that too, but I think that one got canceled. I don't think it got pushed back.
That being said, the best Disney movie of all time is Tangled. I mean, you can fight me on that.
I'll fight you on that. I do think it is a very good movie. And I will give it this. It is one of the best movies in terms of having a very coherent, complicated plot without it feeling rushed.
I would argue that it is. I would argue that it's potentially the best modern Disney movie. But like, the problem is, most of them, like, since like of the 3D animation, like most of them have been really good.
I really, really love Moana, though. That's
right.
That would be my biggest. Like, I really love Moana.
Well, the one that gets me is Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph too. Oh, see, I was just thinking princesses.
Yeah, like Moana's super good too. But
Moana's just beautiful to look at.
I feel like Moana is a little unfair though, because the ocean is so beautiful.
Right.
like I don't know if like the plot is necessarily better in Moana, but I don't know. Like,
it sure.
It's
they're different stories is the problem, and like
yeah,
there aren't princess movies anymore really. Well, there
It'd be
are.
perfect for a
Moana
picnic.
isn't really a princess movie. It just focuses on a woman,
Yeah.
which I think is unfair to call her a princess movie because that gives her a
Got
certain
me, doll.
connotation.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
As we go.
I'm
But-
hoping we're moving away from that connotation, but
Well, like, I don't mind.
I'm sure
Well, I saw
were
this
brought
thing
to this
on
world
Twitter,
for
which
some good reason.
Twitter gives a crap.
take that as you will.
That's right. But there's this thing where someone was like, it said like, why would you want to be a princess when you can be a scientist? And someone was saying like, well, you shouldn't be like this. You can be like both.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to be girly and be into science. And I'm like, so like, if you want to make a princess movie, that's fine, but also make her competent and not Sleeping Beauty, who just main contribution to the plot is falling asleep.
Yeah, I saw something similar where it was like a mom or dad was talking with their daughter who wanted to play a princess, and it's like, okay, well, you know, give her things to think about that a princess would.
Yeah, I think I've seen that where like the dad would like talk to her about like the kingdom and like running the kingdom and stuff.
Yeah, like that's a way to make like. Well, I mean,
As soon as you mention them, they
look
show
at
up.
Moana. Like at the very beginning of the
goes our
movie,
picnic.
they are making her competent. She's able to talk to people and give them
send
advice,
these
and
guys
like
packing.
she's acting like a leader.
Say, since
Like
you three
that's an
seem to know
appropriate
what
thing
you're
for a
doing,
princess
mind
to be
if I leave this
doing.
one
That's
to
not
you?
just falling asleep.
We'll take care of them.
Sorry,
Go on,
Sleeping
spit it
Beauty,
out.
you're just an easy target.
Yeah, I mean Cinderella isn't super great either. I
No.
mean
This was enough. Don't need any.
Snow
it's a-
Snow White's pretty good actually, like from like what I remember of it.
Oh, nothing.
Except like
Yeah.
her competency is all like homemaking,
Yeah.
but it was also made in the 1940s, so like at a certain point, like
Well, that's why I kind of feel like Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and oh, hi, very obvious chest for us. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and Cinderella, in my mind, they all get a pass because they were made like in the 1930s to 1950s. And at that point, animation was still new enough that it was like.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, this is gonna get into like my opinions of Disney animated movies from those eras, but like I feel like the princess movies were the most competent movies because I know people like Dumbo and I know people like Pinocchio, but like have you watched those recently?
what about Peter Pan?
Peter Pan is a good one too.
'Cause I like Dumbo and Pinocchio are like, I wouldn't say they're not competent. I just say they're
What-
they're especially with Pinocchio. It's very lofty ideals, like they're trying to get all across in a kids movie.
Well, and
And by lofty, I mean just like in-depth things about like how corruption taints you.
well, and I heard this description of how Walt Disney would describe his movies because these are ones that he was very involved with, and when he would like when he was doing like the storyboard meetings, he would be like really animated and like convince people just on how he told the stories, and it would be like scene by scene. And that, I think, is more for me where, like, those movies frustrate me, where it does feel like they are a scene-by-scene thing that are kind of very loosely tied together.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, like Pinocchio's like, it doesn't really have a plot. It's
yeah.
it's like a D&D game where it's just like a string of one-shots.
Yes, very much so.
And that's not
Dumbo feels
necessarily
the same way.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also just
It's not. It's just not my favorite way of storytelling, and it makes me not like those movies as much. Which
Yeah.
is why I think, honestly, the princess movies ended up being so good.
Where'd Flynn go?
Is because, like, and maybe I'm reaching too much here, but it feels like the early animation
think
was
I
like,
joined you
oh,
that
you know,
way.
tell a bunch of small stories at once, which is what Dumbo and
But
Pinocchio
that way
feel
is
like.
just
But then
a
the
dead
princess movies all feel like,
That's
here is
close
one
enough.
whole story that we were able to tell as an animated feature.
yeah.
I say we investigate.
So
All right, investigate.
So who's your? So I have two questions then,
Okay,
but we'll save them for next episode.
sounds good.
So until next time, everybody, keep wandering.
Bye.
Hello, Wanderers, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Wandering Gamer Network Plays Kingdom Hearts 3. We hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to hear more content from the Wandering Gamer Network,
Check out the link in the description below. We have several actual play podcasts, including D&D 5th Edition and City of Mist. Until next time, keep wandering.